that is recommended. 100%. Take your daily dose of the podcast by female doctors everywhere, by female Doctor Who fans everywhere. Don't worry, we'll shape you up into Capaldi-loving, wonderful human beings. 100% of the time. I don't know what I'm doing, Josh. I'm fucking confused.
You're confused.
There was a joke there, and then I just dropped off a cliff and died. Like my social life. You there?
What?
Did I kill you?
But,
are you dead?
Oh, I faded in and out slightly. I'm sorry.
You're an eldritch being. I didn't know this. When were you going to tell me?
Well, first of all, I don't know what I'm doing, and second, I didn't know I blipped. So, it's going to be scary.
Oh God,
it's going to be scary. I don't know what I'm doing.
You don't know what the meaning of life is?
No. Well, I think if you're immortal, then it's just try to get by with least problems as possible.
Josh, if you ever became immortal, I'd be very concerned.
I don't want to be immortal. I think it comes with more problems.
Yeah. You have to watch all your friends die?
Yeah, you got to watch all your loved ones pass away, and then you keep continuing to live for whatever reason.
I have a question if to any immortal out there. This is important, okay? You can send the email to who's somebody I hate.
Tell them the secrets of life.
No. No, the question is very simple. Is when you break up with... If you're married to another immortal, and let's say that immortal person dies, or like you and that immortal person get into a fight, is it just like, like you have to like settle your differences and move on with your life? Or is it more along the lines of like, no, fuck that person. I'm never talking to that person ever again for as long as I live. God damn it.
Well, what if it's like just the rules of a Highlander?
Yeah.
You have to cut that guy's head off.
These are important questions to ask.
Like, I'm pretty sure maybe head cutting off is going to be the solution, but not sure. I mean, you're both immortal, so I'm not sure.
What is the meaning of life? Is it actually 42? Because if it's not 42, then I've been sold a bag of false goods. Let me tell you.
Well, I mean, it's complicated. Maybe it is 42.
I mean, it should be 42, right?
I mean, what the media has taught us, especially that one movie that's kind of cool. Maybe it is.
Movie? You mean book? Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy is a good book.
I like the movie.
The movie's okay.
Movie
Movie is better than it has any right to be that's mainly because the source material is so strong.
Yeah. The thing I did like about it is at the end of the whole movie, it was these people who are building planets.
Yeah.
And they're designer planets. You can make whatever planet you wanted. Well, and I'm like, this is kind of insane.
I like the guy who's like they're on the planet and they're like building the new Earth. And they're like, so anyways, we built I worked on New Zealand. And the guy's like, and like the main character's like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah. Just thought you might want to know that. I worked on New Zealand.
That's pretty good.
And it's like stuff like that where you're like, oh man, like this is really good. And then it's like, man, I really wish that the BBC would do a series like that, where they would just do like an entire series where it's like, hey, so anyways, we're doing an entire series on this entire project or the book, and now now it's like they're doing that with Harry Potter, where it's like an HBO series where it's the entire series of Harry Potter, and it's going to be more true to the book. Not that Harry Potter is a good book to begin with, but let's be honest here. But I wish that they would do that with like other books, like iRobot or Lord of the Rings, or Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or the Aragon books.
I heard the Aragon books were very popular.
The Aragon books are okay. They're basically Star Wars.
Oh, it's just high fantasy.
It's high fantasy, but there's also like there's a big twist where the main character's dad. So you know the big twist in Star Wars where the twist is that the dad is the Dark Lord.
Oh yes.
The twist in this is the dad was not the Dark Lord. His mother is his high assassin who he killed.
Oh.
But the twist is that his actual dad is the bold man. It would be like if Star Wars where Obi-Wan Kenobi was actually Luke's father, not Darth Vader.
Huh. So that would be interesting.
Yeah. Where like instead of the reason why Anakin went to the dark side was because Padme had sex with Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Like it would have to be like that. Whereas like this was like the reason why it was like the assassin mom was sent to kill this dragon rider. And then when she did, she like fell in love with him and they had sex. And then the Dark Lord found out and killed her. And
darn.
And then he thought he killed both of them, but he only killed one. So he grew up as it's a really good series. It's a really good book. I want to finish it. I haven't finished it, and I'm probably not going to finish it because I'm tired.
I see.
I'll probably finish it. I'll probably pick up the audiobook and read it.
You know, what was it? The one book series I liked, although people haven't had time. They always say that graphic novels are like, it's a graphic novel pictures over it. And I'm like, it's still trying to do a job of conveying a story, even has nice pictures to go with it. I don't like, yeah, it might have less words, but at least it fucking conveys the story really well. And I don't have to read 5 fucking pages of description of what a bush looks like. Like,
no, you still have to do that.
Oh fuck! I don't know. I was gonna say that Bone, the whole series of Bone is real good. I always liked it.
I don't understand Bone.
What do you mean you don't understand it?
I don't understand the premise of Bone.
It's just these 3 brothers got run out of town, and they can't go back to town. They end up getting separated because they're in a part of the world that they never been to. And that part of the world, it just so happened to be full of magic and dragons and bullshit. And they're now trying to find their way either to find each other. And once they found each other, they're kind of up to their necks in bullshit about this magic thing that's going on. And they're like, you know, and they're kind of caught in the middle. And they're like, should I help these people? And they're like, but what can we do? And they're like, I don't know, the best we can, I guess. And then they just go out and they actually do help save the day, kinda.
They're actually decent people who end up like fucking over like. Yeah, I don't understand the point of Bone. It's like when I first started reading Gundam, I didn't understand anything that was happening.
Like literally, it's just people who were caught up in the middle of a magic fiasco, and they didn't realize they were caught up in a magic fiasco.
Why does the main character Bone look so different than regular people?
Simply because they come from a entire city full of these different weird people, and they interact very little with the outside world, basically. So the only reason why they look the way they do is because they are from another part of this planet where they don't interact with anyone. As far as I know, I might have a little bit of info wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
As far as I'm aware.
And also that certain style that the artist done for the whole book, that's actually a huge callback to early 1920 comics and stuff, making something super cute with something super realistic right beside it.
Yeah.
And like having interact with each other. Like that's kind of that weird shtick of super Disney with a realistic thing beside it is kind of that 1920s shtick the whole way through, which is kind of weird.
I mean, I don't mind like the fact that Bone exists. I'm just saying I don't understand it. So
I don't understand how you don't understand it.
I mean, I don't understand it because I also like read Berserk. And that's like the exact fucking opposite of that. Because Berserk, you read it and you're like, oh, Oh, fuck.
It's just brutal shit after brutal shit.
Man, I'm just so happy with all this brutal shit. Brutalizing. And then as you go, you realize, Griffith's kind of a dick. Maybe Griffith did do something wrong. And then halfway through, you're like, nah, Griffith didn't do anything wrong. Even though he did.
Even though he totally did.
Oh, Griffith did something horrible. Griffith's a piece of shit.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna kill the prince or the brother to the king. Why? Pissed me off.
Oh.
I'm gonna get my second in command to do it instead of actually like doing politics. Oh, okay. Any reason why? No reason. Okay.
Nah, just I'm on my high horse. I can't see anything.
I can just do what I want. It's okay. It's kind of like Nintendo and Palworld.
They actually, again, last time we talked about it, it's like they said with their statement, "We know it exists. Please shut the fuck up."
It's so funny because like everyone at Nintendo, you can tell that Nintendo's like pissed.
I'm not sure if they're pissed or if they finally or at least Game Freak is probably finally realizing, oh, we should actually make these better because someone actually kind of took our lunch money finally.
Oh my God. Like it goes back to that thing where you're like, why is Game Freak retarded?
Yeah. Well,
and then you look into it and you're like,
it's blatantly because, they don't have to do anything. They can keep putting out the same thing over and over. It's like NFL problem. They're the only ones making NFL Pokemon. So they're like, why change anything other than maybe a mechanic thing here and a new battle mechanic there and like maybe a different way you interact with bullshit, and that's it.
I will solve Game Freak's problem in 5 seconds. Do you want me to solve it? Because I'll solve it.
How do you solve it? You just make it open world?
Oh, no. Yes.
No. Yeah.
You do basically an Arceus game. You do basically Arceus. You basically do Arceus, and then while you're doing Arceus, you go, okay, so we designed Arceus, and then we're going to improve it. We're going to make it better. We're going to make it run better. We're going to improve the graphics on it. Okay, so it's actually going to be a functional game. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in survival-based mechanics. So we're going to add in like stuff like hunger. We're going to make an adult themed oriented Pokemon game. Where it's a little bit more complicated, where like there is complexity to the Pokemon, where you can do a little bit more with it, where like the Pokemon are actually helping you out and doing a little bit more to like, where like instead of like you going to this Pokemart and buying Pokeballs, you go to the you go to the Poke Factory and they're like, hey man, I need like 18 of these Pokemon in order to help us on our manufacturing line. Can you go get those?
I see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I find out the whole thing hilarious of there were so many people accusing Palworld of like kind of ripping off things, and they kind of did.
There is so much that people like. The people who are saying that though are like, I look at them and I'm like,
I would say that, hey, this company might have ripped off designs here and there because like you can tell that, all you did was slap black and white paint on this thing and then you stretched out the limbs and this is the new PAL monster in your world now. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think it's one of those things of like, but they did work. And it's not quite the same as, sure, it's similar to this, and it looks similar in a lot of ways to the other thing that also exists, but they at least did work on like trying to make a new model and like make it look make it look at least a lot different from what the maybe the base model was from what they're looking at and going like, I want to look like this, but I'm going to do my own take on it or something.
There was stuff that was done in it where I look at it and I go like, oh, okay, that's just this Pokemon. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like there are things where I look at it and I go, okay, like why
there's definitely some I was trying to stop to say Pokemons, but I was gonna say PAL monsters.
Yeah. There's
definitely some PAL monsters you look at and go, come on, you could have done a little more work on this at least. Like this is just an Eevee.
This is literally just an Eevee with fluffed up fur. But like at the same time, it's like I look at that game and I'm like, oh, I'm not mad. Like I do not care that this Pokemon, this literal thing, is just a Pokemon.
Yep.
The amount of fucks I give is none. Because as somebody who's a schmuck and bought a Pokemon game, that twice. I've done this twice, where I bought a Pokemon game and I fucking hated it. 3 times. Because I did it with Sun and Moon too. So 3 times I bought Pokemon games and I fucking hate them. And I just like, I'm at the point now where I'm like, I just am not buying the next Pokemon game unless like Josh is like, hey man, this game's actually the greatest game ever made.
Hey, they actually put more stuff into the design.
I'm adopting the premise that I've done with Call of Duty, where it's like, I'm not buying this fucking video game. I don't give a shit anymore. It's such a bad fucking value for me personally. And like, that's what I'm doing. Even though like I liked Modern Warfare. I played all the way through Modern Warfare 3. The reason I stopped playing Call of Duty was because I was like, I don't want to play this game anymore, so I'm not going to. Whereas this is like every single like time Pokemon releases a new release, I buy it and I play it. And the one I've had the most fun with is Arceus.
Yeah,
by far. And it's like, oh, you could just do like a tweak here, a tweak there. It's literally, you just made Thief. You made budget Thief, and it's actually interesting.
Is it budget? I gotta play Thief again. I gotta play Thief again because I'm like,
it's consoleized Thief, because the entire point of the game is you sneak up on Pokemon and you throw a Pokeball at them.
Yeah.
And when you hit that, like when you have that heavy ball and you just throw it at the back of their head and it hits them and they go, ah. It's the funniest shit in the world.
Yep. As for like if I kind of wonder, let's say if they only had one release of Pokemon for this year, and if it was Arceus, I wonder if it would have been better or been the same.
It would have been better.
Probably. It wouldn't have this like weird dual bullshit going on. And probably, if anything, maybe actually have you go to what was one or two of them. Every time I think about the maps in both games, I just think of how bland everything is. And there's like there's trees and stuff, sure, but it's not like there's any different trees to look at.
There's
or
not
different
a whole lot of biomes and stuff like that in this game. Whereas like in Palworld, like last night, I literally was wandering throughout the map and got lost, and I found a dungeon.
Yeah.
In Arceus, there's not a whole lot of that, except for the snow level.
And also, it turns out my computer sucks. I tried to go into an instance in Palworld. It crashed. I can't do instances in Palworld.
Your computer sucks. My computer sucks. That probably means that my computer's probably going to suck. I kind of want to build... Like, let me put it like this. This is the first game I have a computer that I always run just for, like, doing things. And as I'm playing it, I'm like, man, I just want to play Palworld. I'm going to play a little bit of Palworld. So last night, like, before, like, going to bed and doing some painting, because I usually do painting before going to bed, I was like, hey, I'm gonna play some Palworld. And like, I fucking suck at that game. So I went and like was like, oh, I'll do the first boss, because why the fuck not? So I went and tried to do the first boss and immediately got my ass handed to me. And then I cleared out a syndicate camp and I'm like, oh my god, this game's great. I love it. It's just so much fun. And it's like gone to the point where I'm like, I should really run a Docker image of just Palworld and see if I can like run this game like in a server, because I'm enjoying it that much. And like, admittedly, like I should play it first more, but like at the same time, I'm like, hey man, I'm not putting in like 150 hours in the game. I'm still playing Halo Infinite, and it's just like I'm having fun. I'm doing things my way, and I'm being slow and methodical because I'm like, but if I go 100%, 500% speed, I won't have a game to enjoy, and I'll burn myself out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's my opinion. Although I'm guessing you probably.
I mean, I still could probably jump into those games right now and probably still be like, all right, I'm gonna find a shiny somewhere, or I'm gonna do a thing over here. But although it does get to a point of like, it's just the same thing over and over. Doesn't feel like, you know, any different, and just doing the same thing over and over. Although I say that and I just kind of think back in my brain of like, what else I do over and over? Oh yeah, Disgaea. Although in the newest iteration of Disgaea, it's in 3D now. There's a lot of that pixel art that they're famous for doing, not pixel art, but like their hand-drawn animations for before. Kind of out the window. Not really. They're just switching to 3D because it'd just be easier. And
as most things are.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think so they did it on 6 or they switched to 3D. A lot of people complained that they felt the 3D kind of sucked. And then on 7, they continue with the 3D, but they made it kind of, you know, up their game a little bit. And then everyone's like, okay, this is where we should be. So 7 is the one, but I haven't purchased 7 yet. I know it exists. I know it's out. But I'm like, but I'll get it on sale. I'll get it on sale. I'll eventually get it.
I mean, that game is like, as I'm like watching it played, I'm like, oh man, this guy is weird.
It is very weird.
It has the game. It has basically a fucking loli in it, and everyone's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
There's a fucking loli. She basically has no tits whatsoever.
Don't worry, she's like 1 billion years old.
It's still a fucking... And I'm like, my guy. No. Oh my God. I'm just telling you, she's 1 billion years old, man. Don't you think 1 billion years old is great?
Man, it's so expensive. It's because they're treating it like it's a AAA title. It kind of is at this point.
What, Disgaea?
Yeah.
Disgaea's pretty popular.
Yeah, it's pretty popular.
I mean, that's the thing is like difference between America and Japan is everyone's like, oh, American AAA is so much better. And it's like, no.
No, I would say Japan kind of hits it out of the park when they really want to.
When Japan, there are bad Japanese AAA games.
Oh yeah, they exist.
Oh yeah, like 100%. But like, they're like when I don't get viciously angry at like them because they're like we included like nothing, and you're like okay, and they're like no, like seriously, we included nothing, and you're like
nothing.
Okay, why? And they're like because. You're like, okay, I guess that's because.
But although I argue their AAA versus North American AAA is
go ahead
immensely different in their culture and their what they want to play and shit. So when we look at even let's say something's kind of poopy from their side of the pond, and we look at it and go, oh, this thing's so weird, we'll enjoy it. And even though it's maybe we still agree that it's still kind of poopy, but we still enjoy it for what it is.
There's multiple games that they have made where I'm like, this game sucks, like actually sucks. It's still fun.
Yeah. Like I think Devil's Third is kind of one of those like, this game's fucking shit, but then at the same time you can't help but like it.
I don't care. It's a good fucking video game. That's odd. I don't understand why I hate it, but I just do.
It's fucking garbage, but man, there's something about it. It's hilarious.
I don't understand why I don't understand why I hate this game. But I do. It can't be that I'm just stupid and dumb, and I'm just thinking, well,
maybe when this game. Well, this actually, you know what? Funny enough, Disguise 7 is on sale right now, but it's still expensive as shit.
Josh, you still have to buy me all my Gundams that I said that you were going to buy just now for me.
Oh, just now.
Just now. That's a joke. That's a fucking joke.
I'll just 3D print these Gundam parts and then just give them to you.
That's fine. That's actually okay too.
Do these 3D printed parts even go together? I don't know.
Okay, just to clarify, some people have sent me messages saying that I treat Josh like shit. Those people are fucking assholes. Because not only do I okay, some aspects they're correct. I do treat Josh like shit sometimes, where I'll sit there and be like, Josh, you're a fucking asshole and I hate you, and I really am upset at you and angry. But those are like moments when I'm like, actually like Josh, you fucking piece of shit. Why the fuck did you do this stupid thing? And you're like, I did it because I thought it was a good idea. And it's like, why? Why did you do this?
It was a good idea.
Yeah, I thought it was a good idea. I'm like, no.
I thought it was a good idea.
And even then, it's like I'm still not mad at you. I'm like, just like, God damn it, Josh. But to be fair,
that's a good idea.
To be fair, like, there's also like the opposite side where like Josh. I think Josh has the opposite side of that where he goes, God damn it, Jeff, are you just stupid and dumb? And I'm like, yes, Josh, I'm stupid and dumb. I'm a big baby. I was very Wah. He goes, oh,
let's baby it up in here. Wah.
I'm a big fucking baby.
Wah.
Oh, okay. But no.
Such a big.
You should buy the Sky and stream it, and then stream it on your Twitch channel.
I probably should
for all to see, and then you can be like, yeah, I stream Twitch. I stream stuff on my Twitch channel.
I stream stuff on my channel.
To be fair, I've been like tempted to start streaming again, but I'm also like, later. That's future Jeff's problems.
I mean, I have to fucking actively have a bit of energy to go through with it, and also every time I do it, I always go, oh yeah, I'm recording, and I'm just don't feel entertaining enough, especially with certain people you can tell that they can figure out how to talk to themselves type of thing and know how to be somewhat entertaining, like how I watch Vinny Vine Sauce and I'm like, oh, I like this guy because he does silly noises, and also he at least when he knows how to again talk to himself, and he's somewhat entertaining, and he has a personality, and it's like, that's great. But although
thanks, Vinny Vine Sauce, you're great.
You're great. And he also at the same time he's he has probably a pseudo celebrity status almost, because whenever he goes to a con, people kind of point out at him. It's like, oh my god, you're Vinny Vine Sauce, and he's like, no, I'm not. And he just he kind of runs away to go to the bathroom or something.
If somebody ever comes up to me and says, "Oh my God, you're Jeff Rock from the Black Mind Games podcast," the first thing I'm going to say is, I'm going
to the bathroom.
I'm going to look at the guy and I'm going to say, "You listen to my podcast?" And when he goes, "Yeah," I'm going to be like, "Dude, get a life." Actually, no. Let me be 100% more clear. Unless it's one of the guys I know who listens to the podcast, who I actually like. If somebody comes up to me and goes, "Oh my God, you're Jeff Rock from the Black Mind Games podcast," I'm going to walk up to the guy and put my hand on his shoulder and say, "You should stop listening right now and get a life." Just walk up to. Imagine that you're like, "Oh my God, you're blank from blank," and then he walks up to you, puts his hand on your shoulder, and just says, "You're a fucking loser. You should get a life.
You're blank from blank,
and you're an ass." Why would you listen? Why would you waste your time listening to my podcast?
You know, but yeah, like for streaming shit and whatever, like again, I would have to constantly think about how to be somewhat entertaining and how to, you know, talk properly and whatnot. What else? Oh, also, I was listening to the Castle Super Beast. There we go. Mm-hmm. Got it. Listening on their podcast, and they were talking about when they get recognized at a con, or you know, they're walking from point A to point B, or just trying to get food or go to the bathroom or something, and they get recognized as they're walking through the con. They were talking about, what about you get interacted with people in the bathroom, and they're like, no, do not interact with me in the bathroom. Game face is on. Do not interact with me in the bathroom.
I am literally pissing in this toilet right now.
My hand is full of penis. Please do not talk to me.
Well, for Wooly, maybe. I don't know about Pat.
Oh no, Pat is definitely the do not talk to me. My hand's full of penis. Like, and I'm peeing. What? I don't know can't if do his anything hand here. Is full of. I don't.
No, Josh, you don't understand what I'm saying. I don't think his penis is big enough in order to fill his hand. His hand is not full of penis.
His hand is definitely full of penis.
Are you sure?
I'm totally sure.
Are you 100% positive about
that? Yes.
I don't know if you're
anyway.
Not that there's anything wrong about having a small penis, by the way.
Nothing wrong with
that. Nothing wrong with
that,
unless you're into that thing, in which case you're sick.
If
you want your hand full of penis, as long as if it's not your own, it's fine.
God damn it! Let me continue with the stupid fucking.
No, I'm making an ass out of myself.
Oh, well, I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, is that different at any other time?
Yes.
Or not? Oh,
it's intentional.
I see. But anyway.
It's going to hurt me when this comes up at the podcast, at my interview, and they're going to just they're going to look at me and with a straight face and then push play on like a tape recorder. And it's just going to be me saying, yes, I'm intentionally being an asshole right now because it's funny and I don't care.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, is that you? And I'll be like, yes.
And then they immediately, in that same recording, they hear me cut in and go, hand full of penis. Like that's not you. No, that's a friend.
No, that's my friend. Don't worry, he's probably, you would like him. He's a good guy.
Oh, fuck. That'd be so funny. It was like, who's that? Oh, that's my friend I podcast with. What's he doing now? He's like, he's successful. What?
No. It would be more like, what's he doing now? Well, you see, he's running the company that we co-founded together, and he's happy and has a family, life, and kids. I left that company. Why? Because it was funny.
Because it was funny.
I left that company because I was offered a shitload of money to work at EA again. And then I went and worked at EA. How did that work out for you? Well, you see, EA closed down.
Oh, God. Well, what happened?
Got bought out by that company, and
Embracer Group.
And what happened to EA? Well, you see, they got bought up by Embracer Group. And
I mean, why, the people that fucked the people that fucked over other people before? Yeah. Yes.
Myself included? Absolutely. So what did you do then? Well, you see, they actually paid me money to work there for a year at Embracer for a year as a part of the company I founded. The reason I left was because I didn't trust them worth shit, so I started acting like a jackass. That makes sense.
And then they fired everyone.
Except for Josh.
And they kept all the assets.
Including Josh. As far as I'm aware, he's stuck in kryptonite somewhere.
I'm stuck in then what was that junk in when Han Solo got stuck?
It's kryptonite.
No, it's not kryptonite.
It was kryptonite.
Is it kryptonite?
No, it's not kryptonite. It's give me a second. It might be like it's a material of some kind. Give me a second. Han Solo. Carbonite.
Carbonite. There we go. Because I would be stuck in carbonite, and then I somehow get unlocked, and then and then I'd be like, I gotta go and kick ass like Terminator somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about how people kind of try to walk through a con, and how they get spotted, and how they like try to not have the situation of people talking to them in the bathroom. Although certain people, they're so chill. They had a host on, and the host was Sir Meowmix Music. I'm pretty sure that's his Twitter handle.
Some guy who I don't give a shit about because he's a smart person.
Well, he actually does the podcast called Please Stop Talking, and they kind of just like us kind of shoot the shit super hard and talk about random stories that other hosts have in their life done shit in either Europe or went to doing something somewhere and some bullshit happened or whatever. And the Sir Meow Mix Music, he talked about how when someone's interacting with him in the bathroom, he's like, yeah, let's fist bump, bro. What do you want to talk about? As he's peeing. Like he's super chill. He's like, yeah, what do you want to talk about in the bathroom?
That's like really fucking chill, dude.
Like, I don't know. I guess for me, when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'd rather pee first and then maybe keep talking. Unless I'm so clicking into a person to the point of like we're just nonstop talking back and forth that we end up just peeing at the same time and still talk. It's like
that's amazing. Like, why would you do? No. If somebody did that to me, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh my god, I'm trying to pee. Please, I'm just trying to pee.
I'm literally trying to piss. I am literally pissing right now. Why would I fist bump you? I'm actually not. I'm actually serious. Like, if somebody came up to me and they were like, "Hey, man, oh man, I'm such a big fan of you," while I'm peeing, I'd look at them and I'd be like, "Bro,
please."
I am literally. You see the flow coming out of here right now. See the flow.
You see the Mountain Dew coming out.
You see the Mountain Dew. I got this because I was playing Halo Infinite. So, anyways, Halo Infinite.
Oh, how was it?
New season started. Season 7, unofficially. They have decided that they're moving away from seasons.
Oh, really?
They're moving away from them. There are no more. There's no more seasons.
No more seasons.
No more seasons. You know why, Josh?
Why is that?
Because you did not play Halo Infinite, and it really hurt my feelings, and you should play it more.
Oh, Oh dear.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I guess I should have played it more.
Yeah, you should have played it more.
Oh man, am I too late?
Yes.
Darn it, I'm too late.
So now they're making a new game, and they're like, "Don't worry, I don't think this is the end of Halo Infinite and stuff like that." And so they gave us the Spirit of Fire armor. So now we have the Mark IV armor, and it's amazing. I love it. I'm so happy. I'm the happiest motherfucker around because now I actually have cool armor. And then they added a new map, and it's actually a cool map because you play it and you're like, man, this map's like mediocre. I don't know why it's the big deal. And then you go in the center, and it's like a long fucking hallway.
Huh.
And it's like you're walking down the hallway, and then you turn invisible, and you're like, "Oh, I get it now."
You turn invisible in the hallway.
Yeah, it's
like automatically.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like it's like you have active camo.
That's interesting. So will there be people just lobbing grenades down this hallway hoping to hit someone?
Pretty much. It's also the easiest map to get a backsmack on.
I see.
Because all you do is you're like I see what you're doing there, and then you just walk up behind them, and you're like okay, I'm in the hallway. Somebody like walks by the door, and you just bolt and then backsmack them, and they're like ah.
Okay, I see. The hallway has a bunch of doors.
Yeah,
and you could just run out and fuck them over.
Oh yeah,
that's cool. If anything, in my head, it feels like that's a map that would have came from like Quake in the 90s or something, like an invisible hallway.
Yes.
It's kind of like yeah, just thinking about it, it's like, yeah, this feels like a map. This should have came out years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Years and years ago.
It's amazing.
Well, that sounds like a cool map, actually.
Yeah. It's amazing, and it's actually really fun because as you're playing it, I'm playing it, and I'm like, oh my god, this game's great. I'm having fun, and then as I'm playing, I'm like, oh my god, like I actually remember. I'm like actually like getting intense and being happy, and I'm like, oh, new content, good. Old content, also good.
Oh, this is what happiness feels like.
I hope they add more stuff to it. I hope they don't end Halo Infinite on this. Like, legit,
I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna end it.
They're talking about they're cutting back support, so they're going to do what they did with the Master Chief Collection, which is like, as the Master Chief Collection has gone on, they've been like, we're not supporting this as much as we used to because we got the game basically 90% there, so we're just not going to we're going to finish it off, and then we're going to be good. And,
I see.
And as that's going, they're like, by the way, we're just going to finish off the support of the game, and then we're going to move on to something else. And that something else was Halo Infinite.
I see. Although with Halo Infinite, it's just isn't it supposed to be like it's supposed to be an online?
It was a live service game.
Yeah. So that's the funny thing is that like if you're going like, oh, we're going to work on this project, but the thing is, this project is infinite timeline. So I hope you're.
Here's what I think they're doing. I think that they're going to keep the multiplayer the same, and then they're just going to be like, oh, by the way, this is now the Endless, and everyone's going to be like, oh my god, it's Halo the Endless, and it's like, bro, this is literally just Halo Infinite, but with like extra weapons added to it, and it's going to be a massive 2.0 update, and everyone's
this is just Halo Infinite with tits.
No, yeah, pretty much.
Guys, seriously, this is just Halo Infinite with tits.
Yeah. like what they're gonna do is they're gonna be like we finished off Halo Infinite's no more. It's just Halo the Endless, and everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, it's so different. It's gonna be like, no, this is the exact same game. All your Armored Core reports over and everything like that. Because if they don't do that, that will be like the punch in the face that everyone will be like, oh my god, I can't believe that they did this again.
Oh my god, my face! They punched it.
Yeah, but like as that game has gone on, the more it's gone on, I'm 100% certain that like the hate that game got was so unjustified at a certain point, where it just felt like as if like people were just hating on it because it was like easy and memeable. Whereas now I'm like, it's not as bad as everyone thinks it is. Like, yeah, it's bad, but it definitely could be worse. There are things about it that could have been worse. And like, it's not hard to see why people were upset, but it's like you were expecting a explosive, like you were expecting something, you're acting like you got explosive diarrhea when really all you got was like C-tier hamburger. And
C-tier hamburger.
Yeah, and you're like, this sucks. I have a C-tier hamburger. It sucks. Man, I like the other games, and it's like, yeah, you're comparing literal perfection to like what happened at 343, and like we're talking about the same company that made Halo 5, i.e., one of the worst games ever made. So, one of the worst games in the entire franchise, I should clarify, because that game was actually like really
the worst game possible.
Well, like they made that game, and people were like, "Oh my god!" But it's so great, it's so fantastic, and like I'm playing it, I'm like, "Man, this would be great if it didn't have the word Halo in it." If it didn't have the word Halo in it, it would be so much better. So that's B. Anyway.
What else is there to talk about? New Magic Gathering. Another Magic Gathering set came out.
No.
It's like they're a company and they need to make money.
Isn't Hasbro selling D&D?
I haven't heard anything about that.
Oh wait, no, they were offering it to Tencent. They were trying to part away with D&D.
Oh, that's funny. That's so funny. I think Tencent looked at it and it's like, what the fuck is this?
I mean, I do have one thing on the topic list, but talk about Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. So the Magic Gathering new set came out, is called Murders at Karlov Manor. And it's the whole set's about detectives trying to solve mysteries, trying to solve cases. You're getting clue tokens, and and using those clues to help solve cases, and also there is a huge overarching ARG about the whole game, the whole set. And the overarching ARG is a lot of little clues and a lot of little cases you're trying to solve and figure out where the these puzzles are trying to tell you where to go and the type of thing. And it's so far there's been a website detailing where everyone's getting their clues from, and like where they're finding these, like, oh, this looks like a number 2 in the window frame, and oh, this looks like an A. There's like a bunch of letters on a chalkboard here. Maybe that's something. And turns out, like, oh, once people kind of start putting things together, they're kind of solving a mystery, and it's super flavorful and it's super neat. There's like 20 different cases, like, or 20 different like ARG mysteries to solve, which is super neat. And one of the ARG things about it was I felt was super cool was there's a new set of rare lands that came out where they're fetchable, so they're dual type, and also but they still come into play tapped, but you can surveil one, and a lot of people think that surveil one's could be a better card than a Scry or anything, but I don't know. It still comes to play tapped. It's probably still bad. Okay. But the thing about the artwork on these cards, though, is that if you get the full frame, the extended artwork versions of these cards, and if, let's say, you somehow got one of each of these, one of the rare cards in the set that have this artwork, the extended, and you put them in a panorama, they actually show you letters on the borders of each one. So you look at these letters and you look at and there's numbers on the end, and you do a little math and figure it out. Oh, this is it says telling you to go look up this card, and you look up the card, and you go like, oh, the artwork depicts a dude holding a Jace the Mind Sculptor puppet, and you're like, huh, what's the deal with that? And then there is another case that people figured out that could also be telling us that Jace is also involved within it somehow, because there's also another Jace puppet in another artwork. So we're like, huh, maybe Jace is back, even though he's supposedly dead or something.
Somebody's dead. Who knows who it is?
Although here's the thing, Jace disappeared, but he didn't but was one of those like he died off screen, and you know for sure he's coming back because he's Jace the Mind Sculptor. He's gonna come back. He's Jace. He'd do that. He's the smartest motherfucker on the multiverse. You could do bullshit.
Holy shit! Nothing. Don't worry about it. I'll explain later.
Anyway, I do like the set theming of the whole Murders at Karlov Manor because all of the artwork is super on point. All of the card mechanics are super cool. There's these special cards called cases you can try to solve. They all do kind of neat abilities if you could get that to work.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Some new cards are super snazzy.
Major Nelson is no longer at Microsoft.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
I didn't know that until I checked LinkedIn, and it was like Major Nelson's no longer at Microsoft. I'm like, what?
What?
What do you mean Major Nelson's not at Microsoft? That's not okay. I'm not okay with this.
Oh no.
Why would Major Nelson not be at Microsoft?
Oh no. He left finally.
I'm so offended.
He couldn't take it anymore. He finally left.
He couldn't take being an Xbox shell.
Now he's a PlayStation shill.
Now he works at Midwest Games. Talking about Magic the Gathering with assholes like you, Josh.
Oh, awesome. Wait, he works at Midwest Games?
Yeah.
So where's that?
I don't know.
Huh. I gotta look them up.
But yeah, that's interesting. Magic the Gathering, Jace's back.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people are trying to put the clues together, and they're going, we're pretty sure Jace the Mind Sculptor is coming back in some degree.
I'm pretty sure Magic the Gathering is dying a horrible death, and I'm partly for it.
No, honestly, it's just, here's the thing. Now, especially, actually, there's a really good video that I just saw it this morning from Ristic Study on a YouTube channel. Talking about how Wizards of the Coast produced their foil cards all the way back in 97, or is it 98? Or right around there. They're producing their next set, and they're like, well, we're gonna have to make our cards more collectible somehow because the collectability of Magic Gathering at the time was not very good. So they're like, well, we'll make some special cards like other card games have been doing, other card collectibles have been doing, is that they're making special holographic foils. So Magic the Gathering said, hey, we'll do our own version of holographic foil as well. So they made foil cards for the first time in, what was it, Scourge? No, I think it was like 7th edition. Yeah, I think it was 7th edition. That was like the first set that they start doing foils. And the weird thing about that whole set is that it's a white bordered set, but they have foil cards in it. And if you get a foil card in 7th edition, it's actually a black border card. Just simply because how the printing works, and how if you printed this on a white border card, it would look fucking weird. It would just look terrible. So those cards were just specifically black bordered, which is, again, interesting because this is their shift towards doing black border cards again because of foiling. So this is kind of like, and also it's a hallmark of in 7th edition is also a big hallmark of like, oh, this is a bridge between old cards and newer shit coming in. And the old cards of yore or from in 7th edition are still highly used in modern today because they're that broken. So 7th edition has some good shit in there. And also how in a Ristic Study video, it shows about all the foiling process and how it kind of works. And they use the negative space in card artwork to show off what is going to be foiled and what's not. Where's the positive space? The white space. The use of the white space to say this is going to be foiled. When it gets darker, don't put as much foiling in this area as much as you can.
Yeah.
And that's basically how they do the foiling for like artwork and stuff like that for the cards. And then it kind of goes down this rabbit hole of how it went from these foil cards are going to be super special, and we're only ever going to print them
once.
Oh,
we're going to print them once and then never again, because fuck you.
Well, no, it's more of like, hey, these are meant to be super special, so therefore we're going to make it so that common foils are going to be like 1 in 40, and then uncommon foils are going to be like 1 in 60. And I think rares were like 1 in 100 or something. So but that's saying per card. So if you think about it per pack, that's like 1 in 40 packs or something. So roughly a box. You should get a foil rare in a box. And this just going down the timeline of, okay, so this is when they first introduced foils. And then as you keep going down the line of like, okay, so this is when they start, making weird foils at this time period, because they're experimenting with different ways to foil a card and making different, like they did the from the Vault series cards of like sought after cards, but they're all foiled out different. So they're like, oh, let's do different treatments on these and see how that goes. And then it gets up to modern day, and you just realize, oh, it's so convoluted and so absurd of how many fucking different versions of the same card you can get nowadays. Especially when it came to March of the Machines, when you can get Elish Norn in that one set. You had to look up fucking charts to figure out where you can get this one card. Of like, let's say you like let's say you wanted the oil slick version of Elish Norn, and you're like, okay, so where do I find this? Do I get it in booster packs? No. Do I get it in set boosters? No. Do I get it in collector boosters? No. Do I get it in a bundle? Yes, but you have to go find the special oil slick bundle in order to get it. And it's like, oh, how expensive are those? And they underprinted the fuck out of those, so they're expensive. You're like, oh, well, what about this other version of the thing? Well, you can maybe get in the collector's bundle or in a collector pack. And it's like, oh, well, what about this version? Well, that was a promo. Oh, so how do I get that? Well, you get it from your store. How do they have it? Do they have it in stock?
No,
probably not. This is meant for a Friday Night Fight Magic thing, so they probably don't have it anymore. Oh, no. Like it's just the whole thing is just a confusing fucking mess.
I hate it already.
But here's the funny thing: with all these different alternate artworks and different like these bullshit treatments or whatever, it does bring down the value of these cards. Like. So it does make it cheaper.
So what I'm hearing is that the game is just bad and should die a horrible death, and
it's a weird,
nobody should play it. And
no, it's a weird double-edged sword that Wizards of the Coast is slowly edging towards slipping their foot on the sword and then slicing their fucking arm and leg and everything half open. Because, yeah, you can mass produce the fuck out of Magic the Gathering because you probably have to appease Papa Hasbro in order to do so. But
Papa Hasbro, who I'm pretty sure is trying to get rid of them actively.
Is either they're trying to actively get rid of them or it's their cash cow and they desperately need money to stay afloat.
I mean, so is D&D, but they've been like, well, we don't need to actually give a shit about the fans, and then they actively dump. They take a massive dump on everyone, and everyone's like, "This sucks," and they're like, "Oh."
And then other companies swooped in to eat their lunch money.
Not even. Oh, that didn't happen.
Well, I mean, with their fucking what was it, their OGL, their game license or whatever?
Open game license, yeah.
Yeah, their open game license, like how they're going to try to tighten up the rules on that again, like they did years ago. And then that end up spawning off a bunch of bullshit that they didn't need. They didn't. I think that's how Pathfinder happened.
Yeah, that is.
So, yeah. So
that's also how like Iron Kingdoms got invented. That's also how like a lot of like RPGs that are not open game license invented got made. And the reason why the open game license existed in the first place was because D&D 3rd edition was basically while they were building D&D Second Edition, they were basically going on a massive cease and desist, like attack constantly. So people would be like, "Oh my god, I don't understand why Dungeons and Dragons is going after me," and it would be like, "You're trying to take our IP. How fucking dare you? This is terrible."
Well, when they first made that open license agreement, they were trying to bring in. They themselves couldn't make enough modules for the hungry people that want them.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, if we make this open and we make it so that people can do whatever they wanted to with the kind of the constructed building blocks that we have, they can make a module and connect it to the D&D stuff, and it'll be fine because they'll also help us sell more product.
Yeah. And that was the initial idea.
Yeah, that's the initial idea. And also, not only were the company warned to not fuck over this deal, they did anyways.
Yeah.
Like
the thing that makes this like hilarious and funny is like the fact that like Hasbro went through this before and they were like, "No, let's do it again."
I think that's different people.
Yeah. It was different. It's different CEOs. Doesn't make a difference. It's the same company at the end of the day. But
I think with different CEO, he's going to do the same bullshit before because he doesn't know. Mm-hmm. And he's just going to be like, "Yeah, let's do that." And even though people who probably been there for a while go, "It really shouldn't." And he goes, "No, it'll be fine." And like, "It really shouldn't."
Well, like the best part about this is like Dungeons and Dragons. Right now, there's like talk of like, "Oh, well, we'll just sell off like Dungeons and Dragons to Tencent because we have a relationship with Tencent."
Just sell to Embracer Group. It'd be fine.
No, I hate that company. Why do you, what is with you and Embracer Group?
I guess it's like the butt of a joke just to be like, "Oh, just sell it to Embracer Group."
Oh, just sell it to Embracer Group. They're a great company. They're just going up in flames right now.
It's not even a good company. It's just a group of fucking people with money and not knowing what they're doing. Like literally, like every time that I hear anything from Embracer Group and how something's closing down, it's like, I don't think there's any smart person in that group. I think it's just a bunch of people throwing money at the wall, seeing what sticks.
It really feels like that. Like now, like after being laid off by them, it feels like, oh, you don't care. Like,
yeah, totally.
You literally do not care, and they're like, "But we do care," and you're like, "Do you?" Like,
what they should have done is bought one game company and then see how that would have fared out, and not multiple game companies.
The problem is that like what they did wrong. The things that they did wrong was like stuff. The things that they did wrong was they sat there and they said, "Oh, it's okay if you do X." It's okay if you do X. It's okay. Okay, we believe you. And they believe people who should have never been believed. And now it's like, because of that, it's like the damage that was done. It took 2 games to kill a company. 2. And it's like, that's the thing. That's the reason why like EA will always suck up to like FIFA fans whenever it comes to any of this is like, and this is something that people don't understand is like, the way that EA makes money is not because of like the games that you like. It's because of FIFA. It's because some FIFA fan is going to be like, "I spent $500 on the game."
And yep.
And every EA employee will sit there and go, "Man, I really want to improve this game, but I will affect FIFA negatively."
They're a FIFA company now.
And FIFA doing well actually benefits us. So, I'm just not.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like every company wants that live service to keep them live forever, but it's like that.
That's
unless you somehow hit the like captured the lightning in the bottle. That is a really good live service game. A fucking like even then.
Not even.
Not even then. Like
those games don't exist.
Yeah.
You look at Bungie. Bungie has been dying because of all of this shit where they're like, "Oh, well, like, you know, like I just got to be honest with you, man. It's not any of our, it's not an issue or anything like that. We just okay, I guess we're fucked." But like it's like Bungie, like you look at what Bungie went through and you're like, "Man, I wonder why Bungie like failed." And I think about it and I'm like, Oh, right. Bungie failed not because of like any outstanding issue, not because they were fucking terrible. No, Bungie failed because they they were spending way too much money and there was not enough product for them to sell. There was not enough content in their games to be good enough in order for them to sell. And it just feels like as if like every single live service game, except for FIFA, is victim of that. Where it's like, man, this is a really good game. I can't wait to see it and play it and stuff like that. And then you look at FIFA and it's like, this is literal dog shit. Why does anybody play it? And because it's football, it's the most successful game of all time, and it will always be that game. I don't even think it's I don't even think it's called football anymore. It's called like EA football or something like that.
Madden and NFL, NHL.
Well, Madden I think is different. Madden is like as that game. Madden is so much different because Madden, there's like you look at what they do and they're like, man, like we've improved the throwing of the game like once a year, but all that stuff went through FIFA first. Madden against FIFA's like dirty handy downs.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Maybe I'll go back to that joke. Hope Embracer Group buys them.
No. It could be worse. It could Embracer at this rate. Embracer's going to buy Nvidia.
Oh, I don't think they have enough money for that.
No, they don't. But the point is that right now, Embracer Group is. The point is that Nvidia released the same fucking card.
Oh.
Except it's cheaper. It's the same fucking card.
Did they put another number on it?
No, they put the word super on it.
And it's the same card.
It's the exact same fucking card.
So what's super about it other than the price?
Oh, it apparently has more CUDA cores.
Okay.
And it's cheaper.
Okay.
So I don't know what the fuck they did. Because it has higher clock speed, it has higher everything, but they were like, it's the NVIDIA Super. And then it came out and it's like the same benchmarks, maybe sometimes faster. So it's like the funniest shit on the planet Earth where I'm like, wow, this is actual trash. Like this is literally dog shit. And they're like, but it's cheaper. And it's like, I don't know if I would say that that's like a highlight for a graphics card that really should have been $700 when it came out. But okay.
So what's the price of that thing now?
It's now instead of like I think it's like it was 1,100 when it launched. It's now 900.
Okay.
So it will be about 1,100 Canadian.
Could they make that even lower to 500 so I can maybe purchase it?
No.
Darn it.
You have to get a 4070.
4070.
And that's in American money. So let's look at actual Memory Express here. It's the dumbest thing in the world because it's like as graphics cards have gotten more expensive, it's like, man, all of the advantage of like being a PC gamer has gone out the window except for Steam. Just don't be like Ben. 4070 Super. So the 4070 is $829.99. The base level 4070, which you should not get, is $750. And if you wanted 4060, it is. Well, don't buy 4060. Just don't buy 4060. I will give you money for you to buy a different card.
Huh.
I am not joking. I will actually give you fucking dollars to do that. But we do have another topic. Palworld. That's not Palworld related. The Kill the Justice League game came out. It is terrible and trash, and nobody should play it.
Well, here's the problem. People were saying that it was trash, but really, it comes from a review I've heard. I've watched a bunch. What's the review I watched? Oh, I think it was IGN, and from the impression from this guy and how he talks about it, it just sounds like it's like the gameplay is good, but yet the gameplay is good, but yet when it comes to like doing other things around that, is just fails. So it's like, yeah, you could jump around, shoot guys, and have fun, but you're shooting the same guys over and over. You're doing the same quests over and over, and there's just not a lot of variety in what you're doing. So it's just, oh, you're zipping around, killing people, doing cool things and looking cool, but there's no substance at all. Like, zero substance. So it's pretty much, oh, you see the first 10 minutes of this game? That's all you're doing for the next 8 hours. Enjoy. Like, not the best.
That's true.
Yeah. What else? Oh, I do love how every time someone ever talks about or brings up the Suicide Squad, they always bring in Captain Boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
They just think he's the coolest guy ever, or at least they bring in these B-list or B-list/C-list evil villains, and they try to do stuff with them. And I'm like, you know what? I think this is neat how they bring in these villains and they're kind of shit. And it's like,
I just think that like the way that they're doing this is like, as it goes, they're like, man, we're just gonna bring in this villain and like bring in villains that nobody ever heard about, and then you get the actual like what was it, the new Suicide Squad movie, and it's actually slightly different. And they actually have different people, like Polka Dot Man.
Yeah, Polka Dot Man, from what I've seen, it looked interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Freaking, yeah, like, I don't know. That game sounds mediocre, and it's probably going to fail because of that.
It's already has the highest refund rate of any of the games. And the fact that they killed Batman in it also didn't really help.
They killed Batman in it?
They killed Batman in it. Batman dies.
Huh.
Harley Quinn goes on a rant.
Oh.
She goes like, people used to fear you, and I just am saying... And then she shoots him in the head, and Batman goes, are you going to continue with your dribble? And she shoots him in the head. And it's like... Man, that's anticlimactic, but okay.
That I get, like, oh, that's another thing with the game. So like the review pointed out, it's like trying to be serious and trying to be comedy aspect of it. It's like they're trying to do both, and it's like, no, you should have chose one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, either you're going to be serious or you're going to try to do a little more comedy, and you shouldn't try both. You should do one, and they end up failing both and didn't work out. So yeah, like your anticlimactic ending to that, it's like, well, all right. I guess he got shot in the face.
Mm-hmm.
How much would have bet he'll just come back later?
Oh,
because it's Batman.
He's died before.
Yeah,
he has died before in the comic books. They've killed him before.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they could just pull him out of the what's that?
The Lazarus pits.
Yeah, Lazarus pits. Just pull him out of the Lazarus pits, and it's like, wait, how am I back? How am I here?
Well, that's what they did with Tim Drake. No, not Tim Drake. Who was the second Batman? Red Hood.
Red Hood. Oh, I can't remember.
Red Hood.
You can Google. I mean, we have like the internet at our fingertips.
Let me look. Red Hood. Aspiring Red Hood comic first. DC Comics first appearance as Joker. Detector Comics.
Jason Todd.
Yeah. So Jason Todd. If they were like, hey man, Jason Todd. They did that with Jason Todd, and Jason Todd came back as a bad guy, and he was like, he was basically like Ra's al Ghul evil, but he was like also like temperamental like Batman. And then he also had like a weird pseudo like he was like, I thought that you would have killed Joker because in the movie one of the movies of like I think it's called like Phantom of the Red Hood. He's like I thought you would have killed Joker because he killed me, and that's like one of the reasons why he goes on like a rampage where he's like, I'm gonna kill everyone because Joker's still alive. That by the way, I gotta be honest with you, man, I really like those movies. I think they're okay, but man, is that podcast? We've gone for like an hour and 25 minutes.
Yeah, we ranted and raved about things.
Yeah. All right. Sync in 3 or desync in 3, 2, 1. Desync. Thank you everyone for listening to Black Mike podcast. You can listen to us every Thursday on Black Mike as a Podbean.com. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting app choice. Thank you, Josh. Have a good night.
Bye.
Your stories tend to like meander, and sometimes they're very interesting because sometimes they're like, this is the time I almost robbed a Walmart, and you're like, what do you mean you almost robbed a Walmart, Josh? That's not okay. And you're like, no, it's okay. I was wearing a hat that made me look like a fucking kid with Down syndrome. And you're like, okay. And then you go, just because now they thought I was retarded because I literally was able to access the screen that allows me to punch in anything I want and get it for X amount of dollars. So I could have just entered something and punched in negative and would have gotten all of this money. And I would have been like, and everyone's like, Josh, you should have just done it. You should have just done it, Josh. Like, Josh, seriously, you should have just done this. You should. Why didn't you do this, Josh? You could have had $500, and everyone's like, Josh, you fucking idiot, and you're like, but it's not okay, and it's like, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. And like, it's A, not okay. B, they could trace that easily. I'm sure
they would have looked at that camera. They would have been like, oh, hold on a second, this guy isn't retarded.
He just speaks retarded.
All you have to do is like be like just you know, have you ever watched just be like Trump for a couple minutes. Just put your arms to your side and just start shaking it.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Just do that. Just embrace your entire offensive nature that you keep under lock and chain.
No.
Be more like me.
Oh, I gotta keep it locked.
Be like me, Josh. Just let that freak flag fall. Actually, no, don't. Knowing you.
That'd be me walking naked down the street.
No, that would be you being like with a like pride flag coming out your ass and stuff like that. Don't need that.
It's like a foxtail that is a butt plug, but it's a pride flag.
I don't need to be driving down the street to pick you up for something and then see you walking down the street with like and going, huh, that's a crazy guy.
Oh, that's some crazy guy.
That's a crazy guy. Show up, knock on the door at your house. Hey, Josh's dad. Is Josh home? Yeah, he's walking down the street naked. Oh, damn.
No. If anything, you'd be in the car with someone else. You'd be like, "Isn't that your friend?" And you'd be like, "Oh no, You keep driving.
That's not. My friend doesn't wear like shit 8 pounds of fucking makeup. And has a pride flag coming out of his ass. He's a relatively normal person, just loves Pokemon.
It's just, he likes Pokemon and doesn't have a giant fursuit that has the bottom rip off. No, it that doesn't happen.
Why would anyone want that fursuit?
I mean, who doesn't want a fursuit that has openings?
I don't want a fursuit.
I kind of find a fursuit kind of like.
Here's the thing: a fursuit is fine. It's okay if it's okay with a girl who wears a fursuit. Okay, I'm okay with that. It's not okay if it's not okay if you're wearing a fursuit during sex. That's weird.
Only thing I can think of is how like absolutely hot it can get in there, and it's just.
There are people who have like really expensive fursuits.
Oh yeah, like have fans blowing in them or water cooling, and it's like it gets pretty absurd.
And you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Or the one thing I've seen is that they have people with leaf blowers, and they open up the mouth of their fursuit, and they put the leaf blower in, and they turn it on so they get the airflow going through their fursuit to cool off the person.
Yeah.
And which is interesting, but then also kind of goes into that like inflation fetish thing, kind of. So it's like, this is weird.
I mean, to be fair, 95% of like the sexual adjacent communities are weird, except for the BDSM community, because they don't seem to flaunt it as much.
Well, I mean, the one extreme pain, so it's kind of a hard taboo.
Yeah, but you're never going to, like, most people in that community you're never going to see somebody, like, driving around with a chariot of women.
No.
Nah. Like, no. Like, you might see somebody, like, doing that, and you'd be like, huh, that's fucked up. Or you might see somebody being, like, pretending that they're a dog in the backseat of a truck, and you go, oh, that's fucked up. But those are the outliers. They're never really, like... You don't see them as much as some people in certain communities. Like, if a furry walked around in N4 thighs, like, and you saw them at McDonald's, you'd be like, that's fucked up. But you would probably be okay. But, like, most furries aren't like that. Okay, I should change my point because I'm actually realizing how wrong I am. Most people usually understand that it's okay in order to keep your fetishes under lock and key, away from people.
Yeah.
It's the extremists that I have a problem with. The people who would fuck a dog don't, quite frankly, are weird enough to the point of where they would it's more likely that they would probably, end up showing up to McDonald's in a fursuit. Jeff, you're right. God damn it.
No, I mean, they have anyone could do whatever and come up to a McDonald's in a fursuit and order their McDonald's and leave like a normal person. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure that it's perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. It does leave the question in your brain to not ask he's probably a freak.
Yeah,
just a freak.
It's like when you're like sitting at a restaurant and you look across the table and you're like look down the hallway and you're like, huh, why is that girl wearing bondage gear? A dress in bondage gear. That's weird. Why would you do that? Why would you wear that? I have questions now. And then the entire night you're sitting there going, I am so confused. I don't know what's going on. What is the meaning of life? Is life just pain and suffering? Should I walk around in like with a chastity cage on and with that? What the hell's happening here? What is happening to society? And you're just sitting there and you're just like, I don't know anymore.
Things are just evolving.
I don't know anymore. What is wrong with the world? Maybe the Christians had it right.
No, they definitely didn't.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I just have to wait 4 years, and then we can go back to what we were doing in the 90s. Or the 80s.
What's the four? Oh, I see. I don't know. I remember I was watching a YouTube video about it's called The Satan's Guide to the Bible.
Mm.
And it's an hour and a half long video. It's basically a documentary of sorts talking about the secrets of the Bible. And
Behold the Bible.
And basically it's the point of view. It's basically Satan is talking. Basically how it starts out is looks like a cheesy, like, oh, this is like a cheesy made movie for kids in Bible school type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then it slowly kind of gets into the like, oh no, it's all about history and all about like what things in the Bible maybe could happen, or figure out what it's going on. Who are these people in the Bible? Where do they come from? And all this, like all the history about it. And it turns out a lot of the secrets in the Bible are like, yeah, the person who's supposed to write this section didn't exist, or it was written by someone else and we can't figure out who.
We don't know what's going on anymore. It's shut the fuck up. Just stop asking questions.
And it's a great movie because the sources that they pull from are like people who are really in the know about the religious the scholar stuff about the religious learnings and stuff like that, and all these different high end professors and stuff like that who go into it and really in depth about it. And it's like, wow, this is really educational.
We're going to be so educational. Let me tell you how educational we're going to be.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me Satan.
I don't want to watch it because Satan.
Oh, but he's cool though.
No. And we should start syncing the show, and then we can actually record a podcast.
Okay.
And then you should find everything.
Fine.
Okay, so sync in 3, 2, 1.